Years after graduation, my high school desk partner became an A-list celebrity. At our class reunion, his expression was ice cold. "Do I know you?" Everyone thought Peyton had forgotten me, until news of my accidental death reached them. And my best friend discovered something while sorting through my belongings, a love letter Peyton had written me years ago. "Vivian, having a crush on you is too painful. I don't want to like you anymore." Below that, in smaller handwriting, "Never mind, I was lying." That night, news of Peyton's suicide attempt trended online. When I opened my eyes again, I was back at the reunion. I looked at the cold, distant Peyton in front of me and tentatively pulled out my phone to send him a message. A second later, his custom notification went off. "Peyton, I died on a snowy day while out searching for writing inspiration. I got lost in the mountains. When the snow started falling, I died of hypothermia. It wasn't a dignified death." When Zoe received the news, she rushed over overnight. At the morgue, she sobbed so hard she could barely breathe. "Vivian, how could you just leave me like this? Even if Peyton doesn't remember you, you still have me." My soul floated in midair. Hearing this made me cringe so hard I wanted to disappear. If I wasn't already stone cold dead, I would have rushed over to cover her mouth. "This girl, the officer said it was an accidental death. How did it become a suicide over lost love in her version? Couldn't she let me keep some dignity in death?" But clearly, Zoe didn't see it that way. For some reason, she was convinced my death was connected to Peyton. She pulled out her phone and made the call. It rang for a long time before someone picked up. "Hello?" A hoarse male voice came through, like he'd just been woken up. "Zoe, what's up? I just pulled an all-nighter on set. Peyton." Zoe cut him off, her voice breaking. "Vivian's dead." Silence stretched on the other end. Even as a ghost, I couldn't help feeling a flicker of hope. What would Peyton's reaction be when he learned I was dead? Would he be sad? Or would he think it was just some nobody dying? After all, at the reunion a few days ago, his attitude toward me had been so cold. When everyone around us started making jokes, he'd only ask coldly, "Do I know you?" The moment those words left his mouth, the air seemed to freeze, meeting his indifferent gaze. I felt all the courage I'd built up before leaving home evaporate into nothing. In the end, I could only open and close my mouth like a fish, managing to squeeze out no, nothing. Then I looked down and didn't dare look up again. Actually, it wasn't hard to understand. He was a top celebrity now. It had been 6 years since we graduated. Him not remembering me was probably for the best. Otherwise, I'd feel like I owed him something. "Peyton, did you not hear me?" With no response from the other end, Zoe demanded through her tears. I said, "Vivian's dead." "She's dead." Thud. A heavy object hit the floor on his end. Peyton seemed to be gritting his teeth, his voice trembling. "I don't believe it." The next second, he hung up. Zoe stared at the disconnected call, crying and furious. She snapped a photo of my death certificate, sent it to him, then blocked his number. I wanted to comfort her, but when I reached out, my hand passed right through her body. In the end, all I could do was embrace the air around her. "Don't cry, silly girl." 5 days after my death, Zoe brought my ashes back to New York. I didn't have much family in the States. My only brother had been on a business trip in Europe when he got the news and was currently on a flight back. When Zoe returned to my apartment with the ashes, my ragdoll cat had been starving for 2 days. Before leaving, I'd left him enough food for 3 days, thinking I'd be back soon. I never imagined I wouldn't be coming back at all. Zoe often visited my place, so when the cat saw her at the door, he immediately pounced over, purring and demanding food. The scene must have hit her hard. Zoe nearly burst into tears again. After filling the food bowl, the little guy dove right in. Zoe walked into my study and started going through my belongings. I was a full-time writer, so I spent more time in my study than my bedroom. My desk was still exactly as I'd left it. In the photo frame by my computer was a picture of our high school friend group. In the photo, Zoe had her arm linked with mine as we stood in the center. Peyton stood on the far right, with people between us. I smiled at the camera while Peyton's gaze drifted toward me. Right now, just looking at Peyton made Zoe angry. She finished organizing everything else, then finally reached for the frame. That's when the freshly fed cat trotted over. Seeing Zoe reach for the frame, The cat launched into a sprint and swiped at it. Crash! The frame hit the floor. Glass shattering everywhere. Zoe jumped, then picked up the cat and noticed something in the frame's backing. Meow. The cat in her arms realized he caused trouble and let out an appeasing meow. Zoe bent down and pulled out a letter from the broken frame. When she opened it, she found a love letter inside. Now even I was confused. Not just Zoe. The paper inside the envelope had yellowed with age. But the handwriting was still sharp and clear. Word by word. Line by line. It spoke of hidden but overwhelming feelings. Vivian, having a crush on you is too painful. I don't want to like you anymore. Below that, in smaller handwriting. Never mind, I was lying. When my eyes fell on the signature in the bottom right corner, both Zoe and I froze. It was signed by Peyton, the current Alice celebrity, also my high school desk partner whom I'd crushed on for years. I suddenly remembered this frame had been a gift from Peyton during our senior year. Over all these years, I'd moved many times, but this frame had always come with me. Sitting by my computer, I just never realized there was this secret hidden in its backing. Remembering that last phone call, Peyton gritting his teeth, his voice trembling as he said, "I don't believe it." My chest ached. So ghosts could feel heartbreak too? I watched Zoe immediately pull out her phone and unblock Peyton. But before she could dial, a notification for a trending topic popped up at the top of her screen. Hashtag Peyton warns suicide hash. The next second, Zoe's hands were trembling as she tapped on the trending topic. She saw that just 15 minutes ago, an entertainment gossip account with millions of followers had posted a video. In the footage, an ambulance was parked outside an upscale villa, surrounded by security and staff. Then the camera shifted, and everyone saw a hand hanging limply from the stretcher in the ambulance. The hand had long, elegant bones and skin that was unnaturally pale. Dark red liquid dripped from the fingertips, spattering on the ground like blooming flowers. Peyton Wong attempted suicide at home tonight by slashing his wrists. Suicide note suggests a love-related death pact. I stared at those glaring words, love-related death pact, and my brain seemed to short-circuit. Number. It couldn't be like this. It shouldn't be like this. How could he die? How could he be allowed to die? In that instant, countless memories flashed through my mind like a slideshow, replaying scene after scene from the past. They froze on that snowy winter day. 17-year-old Peyton stood at the bottom of the school steps, reaching his hand out to me. Then it settled. Vivian. He looked at me with sparkling eyes, the slight curve of his lips impossibly gentle. If I become a big star someday, you'll be my manager. As he finished speaking, a gust of wind blew past, and pure white snowflakes blanketed the entire world. It all felt like a dream.
本音频由魔音工坊 AI 生成，